I can hear him.
Manny Navarro, The Athletic. Max, this is the first NBA Finals game in Miami in 9 years. You've been here a few years now. Just curious about this city. Is there anything you've fallen in love with?
I love it here. Walking outside every day. The weather is phenomenal, but I will say the fan support we've had during this playoff run has been huge. They've been phenomenal. They've showed up every single night we've been home, and even when we're on the road, we've seen the videos of families, fans walking the streets, banging pots and pans every time we win. It's pretty special to feel that love from them, and can't wait to play in front of them tomorrow night.
Coach speaks that he gives the license even if you were missing shots the first game. But what is your own process after maybe a disappointing shooting game to come to the next game so sharp?
Keep shooting. I work too hard to give up on myself at this point. Um, I've missed a lot of shots in my life and my career. I'm not going to let that stop me from shooting and doing what I do. I get paid to do this, and I do this for a living, so I'm going to keep shooting every time I'm open.
We'll go to the back of the room on the left.
I was going to ask you about Jimmy seeing the attention throughout this series so far. Do you think it's comparable to what you guys saw in New York, where you kind of start this game in game two, you got open on some slots in the corner? Is it similar in that way to that series?
For sure. I think the way they defend is similar to New York. I think we can still do a better job of attacking, but yeah, I would say it's going to be similar. Similar shots, similar execution on their end of just how they guard.
We're going to go on the right side to the third row. Hold on for a second as we get the mic over.
Matt Moore, Action, Matt Moore, Action Network. In the fourth quarter, you guys change up a lot of what you do, both on defense and offense. You run different actions, you run different sets, you throw in the zone. What is the type of preparation like for you as an NBA player to be able to do that in these specific situations? Is that mostly communication from Spo? Does it take like all the work that goes into it? What goes into being able to change things as much as you guys do in specific instances?
82 regular game season. We've ran every defense, we've ran every scheme. Spo does a great job preparing us all year to be ready for situations like this, to be able to switch in a timeout, switch a scheme, switch a defense. We've ran every single defense with every single lineup this entire season, so it's nothing new to any of us, and we're ready to be plugged in at any point.
We're going to go first row on the right. Barry?
Hi, Max. You've probably seen the stat about Pat having been involved in a quarter of all finals as a player, coach, or an executive. What's been your interaction with him? Is there something that he typically tells you when he sees you?
He just tells me to be me. Love Pat, love having him around. He's here every single day, and just be able to learn from him. And like you said, he's just been through so much experience in these type of environments that nothing really seems to phase him. So just being able to learn from him and just watch how he acts and watch how he carries himself is enough in itself.
And one last thing, without revealing what it is, has there been anything over the course of your time here that he's noticed about your game from a mechanical or technical standpoint where he's given you a tip or advice?
Not really. Just the defending and rebounding really is all he really cares about. So he's told me to rebound more a couple times, but he lets me play and lets us do our thing and trusts us that with our ability on the court that we're going to do what's best for the team.
We're going to go to left side, third row.
You guys always talk about the importance of Bam, but just seeing him in the series, dealing with Jokic, and then obviously doing what he's doing offensively, just have you been impressed, I guess, even more so with the way he's kind of doing it at this level?
I wouldn't say I've been impressed. I mean, Bam's just being Bam. Bam's an all-star. Bam's an unbelievable player, one of the best big men in the NBA, and we're lucky to have him on our team. His ability to guard at that level, 1 through 5, it's special. It's unique, and he's been carrying us, and he's going to continue to do that and keep playing at a high level.
We'll go back to Manny in the first row.
Max, I know we've written about heat culture ad nauseum and discussed it ad nauseum, but for you as a player, was there a moment where you just knew, hey, this is the right system, the right fit for me, the right culture for me when you got here?
Yeah, I think my first day. just kind of how we go about our business, how they trust in the work, they trust in people preparing themselves and putting in work behind closed doors. I mean, that's everything I've done in my career to get to where I am. Continue to work hard through all the ups and downs, and just keep pushing. That's really it. And they really strive on that here and push you to work harder. And I've just been built like that. So, ever since the first day I got here, I've just felt a special connection and a strong love for this organization.
We'll take one more question from Barry.
Max, this is not about any outside noise, but I am curious. Has the talent, do you think, in your room been underestimated overall? Is this group of players simply more talented than what public perception is?
Yes.
And can you expand?
I mean, I think we keep backing it up. We keep showing and proving ourselves over and over again, even when people don't do it themselves. So we believe in each other. We believe in ourselves. And that's really all that matters to us.
Thanks, Max.
Talk about that, as well as how did you break the news to a vet like Kyle Lowry that he was going to go from a starter to off the bench when he had been a starter for so long?
I did not see Steve's comments, but I think like the context of what you're saying, getting guys to buy into roles, buy into something that's bigger than themselves, that's arguably the most important thing when you're trying to build a team that can contend for a championship. And it's elusive, it's tough. You try to be intentional about it. You try to get guys that really care about winning more than anything, even if they have to sacrifice, or also understanding that that's a prerequisite. You have to sacrifice. And we have a lot of guys that have played a bunch of different roles and have excelled in different roles, but have had the emotional stability that when their roles have had to change, that they're still about the team. And in reference to Kyle, he's all about winning. At this stage in his career, when you have more yesterdays than you have tomorrows, it's really about these kind of competitive moments on the biggest stage. That's what drives him more than anything, is the ultimate competition. And it was a relatively easy decision to take him off the bench, because we had to shut him down for 5 weeks, and when he came back, he had a minutes restriction that he and I were aware of. In the first game he came back, I played him 36 minutes. So the head coach got yelled at by everybody, and Kyle and I met the next day, and we were both laughing about it. We needed to protect each other, and the only way to do that was to bring him off the bench so we could control the minutes. We did that the rest of the year. It was really only about a month left in the season. He excelled in that role. By the time we got to the playoffs, even though he could handle more minutes, we just stayed with it, and he was really secure with that. I think he's embraced that. Our second unit now is one of our biggest strengths as a team, and we were struggling with our second unit, for various reasons for most of the season, and he kind of just fixed all that on his own.
Tim over here on the right, fourth row.
Tim Reynolds, AP. Erik, I know the 30 minutes that we see out there aren't exactly the most serious practice time of all time, but it just seemed like everybody really is just enjoying where they are right now. Where's the line? Like, how do you both handle the incredible seriousness of what you're trying to do versus enjoying where you are as well?
Yeah, it's an art, not a science, right? There's no perfect formula to that. There's no perfect book. We know our group. They live on the razor's edge. There's an edginess to this group. The on button is usually on, and I think we've found better ways, more productive ways in the moments in between, just to not exhale, not to relax, but just to recharge, get our minds off of that, so that you can gear up the next day emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of those things. It's tough to always be like on that on button. And this group, has shown a maturity level to be able to handle both. And we'll see, tomorrow night. But in a moment like this, I want our guys relaxing. And when they get out of here, I'd love for them to get their minds off of it. I know how they all are. They want to, be like that all the time.
Cooper on the left, third row on the aisle.
So I know he's not the only one who does this, but with Jokic kind of changing the depth of his defensive coverage throughout the game, how unique has that been to prepare for? And how do you think the guys, especially the shooters, have done making those snap reads?
It is unique, and I think, that's what you expect at the final level, that there's not going to be absolutes. You have to read the defense, still try to get to our game. We have to be aggressive, and then we have to make the appropriate plays and reads possession by possession. It could be different the next possession. It could be different within the possession. They're probably having the similar discussions about our defense, and this is that level. It's the finals, and that's what's required. But the guys have really been working diligently, film sessions and in these practices, to try to get on the same page. But it's, they're a very good defense, because of their changing coverages.
Ira, right here.
Ira Winderman, South Florida Sun Sentinel. Tyler spoke the other day about still having a degree of pain with the hand. Where does he stand with that? And honestly, as the days are ticking down, your thoughts on his chances of being able to make an appearance during the finals?
Yeah, I don't want to be Nostradamus right now. We're taking it one day at a time, and I know that sounds like a cliche. He did the practice with the group. He's going to do a full contact workout after this. We'll evaluate that. We'll meet, with the training staff later on today and probably tomorrow, and we'll just continue this process. He has not been cleared yet, and so that's where we are. But we're encouraged by the work that he's been doing.
Joe on the left side in the front.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. You guys won the other night without Jimmy having one of those Jimmy playoff games. But I wanted you to, if you could, take us through how you feel the series has gone for him so far.
He's a two-way basketball player, and he does so many winning things that I think, unfortunately, when you view maybe a 56-point game, everybody on the outside views that he has to do that every game to impact winning. He understands the levers that contribute to winning, and he's doing it on both sides of the floor. He has an incredibly tough cover defensively. That matters. And then offensively, I still think we just have a great place where everybody feels settled. Like if you're role players and everybody can step in and start playing great, it's usually because they feel a confidence level from the best players, and that's Jimmy and Bam. They infuse all of our guys, to be aggressive. And the way they defend, they're prioritizing protecting the paint against him. So he has to make the right reads. And then down the stretch, those were his best moments. And that's really key for us, when you're in those close games. But he made, how many points he had in the last 6 minutes, but his fingerprints were all over the game down the stretch.
Anthony, third row. No, one row up.
Anthony Chang, Miami Herald. Obviously, Jokic is so unique, but when he has the ball, how does it alter maybe the way you guys usually help off of the guys around him just because of his passing ability?
Yeah, the term when you say your head has to be on a swivel, that's what it has to be. Your head almost has to be able to turn 360 degrees at all times on the weak side, and you can't physically do that, obviously. But that level of discipline and focus is the highest level. That's what he requires your defense to be. And then he can score. He's proven it. He can score 41 against us, and he scored 50 plus, in another playoff game. So you're in the finals. You're going to be dealing with great players, great teams. You have to find a way to overcome it and make it difficult and do a lot of things that are tough.
Last question, Dan on the right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. You just mentioned Jimmy's workload on the defensive end. First game, that was a lot of Gordon. Last game with Kevin going into the starting lineup, that shifts a little bit. He spends a lot of time on Murray. Wondering what the specific challenges are that Murray provides for Jimmy on that end, how you assess how he did in game 2 in that end.
Yeah, Murray's just an electric, playoff performer. It's not just Jimmy. Jimmy will shapeshift. He's going to be on a lot of different guys in this series. That's just the way it goes, and he embraces all of those challenges. He'll be on 1 through 5 at some point. And Murray will draw second defenders, third defenders. You have to pick him up, beyond the three-point line, and he's ignitable. As we saw in that fourth quarter, he can do it in a lot of different ways against a lot of different coverages. So you have to have some strong habits that you've developed over the course of the season. All right.
Thank you, Coach.
It's good news then.
We're going to take the first question in the first row here.
Gabe Ronendorf in Israel. I apologize for a bit of a general question, but during the Soccer World Cup, many players in your position, born in Europe, decided to represent the African nation of their roots. They spoke how it was like the missing piece for them. It improved them as people. Do you, as players even, do you feel that way?
When I play for the national team?
Yes.
I just feel a great sense of pride, to be able to represent a country with so many people that, really value how we perform and how we play. And, I just take a lot of pride in representing them.
We'll go to Manny in the first row in the middle.
Hey, Gabe. This city, I know you've been here a couple years now. First finals game in this city in 9 years. Have you fallen in love with Miami? What do you think of the city itself, the fan base, that kind of thing?
Yeah, no, I love Miami in general as a city. The people, the culture, the food, you name it. It's kind of like its own little country. To be honest, it's very unique in that way.
We're going to go to the right side to Scott Kessiel.
Hey, Gabe.
What's up, Scott?
How old were you when you first played a zone defense? Like, do you remember?
Wow.
Do you remember how old you were, or what team you were playing for, or did you do it at all?
Yeah, I'm sure I did it very young. I don't know, man, probably 10 or so. Basic 2-3 zone, like most kids probably.
Do any of the same fundamental things that you learned back then still apply to what you guys do here?
A little bit. I wouldn't say our zone isn't as traditional as many zones are. Especially at this level, you kind of got to be a little creative. But certain principles in terms of, making sure you box out and rebound, it's hard to rebound in the zone. So.
And just the last thing, are you, it was banned in the NBA for a long time. Are you surprised how much you guys do it, or what makes it effective, I guess?
I'm not really surprised at how much we do it. We're just trying to win. I think it's effective because it's different. And like I said, it's not necessarily a traditional zone that we play. And, other teams in the NBA run a zone or will play zone. And everyone's kind of look a little different, So it's kind of a different look regardless of who you're playing against.
We're going to stay on the right side, second row to Mike.
Hey, Gabe. When you guys audited the three-pointers that you guys got from Game 2, what do you think they were a product of? And was there any underlying common denominator between those makes?
I think it was just good basketball. I think we just, got the ball where it needed to go, and we were able to create advantages and move the ball and find open guy.
I think after one of them, you might have given a look to Jamal Murray. Was that, in essence, why aren't you guarding me as close? Or was that what that was about? And I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I think that was just my passion talking at the moment, and I was just in the moment of the game. I don't think there was anything really to it.
We're going to go to left side, third row.
I know the pocket passes have been, guys, really important to start the series for you to get the ball to Bam and kind of work those 4-on-3s. I guess just what have you seen from him making those decisions on the 4-on-3 so far this series? Because obviously he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, no, I think Bam's been great. His reads offensively, especially think about how much energy he's expending defensively. The way his mind, his brain speed's been going. I think he's been making great reads, and I think he'll continue to, whether it is a pass or shot or attack or whatever the case may be.
We're going to go to the middle, fourth row.
Hey, you just said that you feel like very comfortable in decisive moments. So when do you feel uncomfortable?
When I train, I try to push myself to those points of being uncomfortable to try to grow.
And do you have like any special routine before each game that we or the people don't know?
At this point that you guys don't know, probably not. But I definitely have been meditating before each game, and it's been quite helpful for me.
And any of your teammates have one that you like want to tell us?
Oh no, when we kind of get close to game time, I'm pretty locked in on my own routine, so I kind of miss what they got going on.
We're going to go to right side, third row.
You guys in the fourth quarter will throw different things, both on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. A lot of teams don't do that. They don't necessarily switch up as much as you guys do. Is the mindset that's different about being able to do that? Is it a challenge? Is it easy? And what enables you guys to be so effective at switching things up in specific moments in a game?
Yeah, I think we just have the habits built for it. We've had a number of close games this season, probably too many that we would have liked, but they've helped us prepare for moments like that when we need to adjust on the fly or put in a wrinkle and it's in a pressure situation. The more reps you have with that, the less quote unquote pressure you'd feel, I think.
We're going to come back here to the first row on the left.
The NBA discussion is very much about stars and supporting roles. And then you're immensely unpredictable. Nobody knows who's going to come up with. You think it's one of your strengths that the other team really doesn't know who's going to score?
Yeah, I mean, I think our depth, I think, is definitely a strength of ours, and it's been someone different pretty much every game this playoffs in terms of our supporting cast that has a game or plays well. So, all of our guys are capable, and when they get their moment, they usually step up.
Would you hate to play against a team like you?
I mean, if I had our group, I'd like our chances, regardless of who we play.
We're going to take one more question from Manny.
Gabe, I know we've talked ad nauseum about Heat culture in the past, but for you, was there a moment when you just knew this is the right fit for me, this Heat culture?
The day I walked through the doors.
Any particular reason or anything that just made you feel that?
I think just a lot of what the culture represents and signifies matches who I am as a person, matches my character. So I think it was a little easier for me to assimilate to the quote-unquote culture. And although it isn't for everybody, I think it is for me.
Thanks a lot, Gabe. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Standing on right here on the other side. Mike 1, standing on your left. We'll take first question, standing here on the right side.
Oh, there go young fella. Jalen Williams with Dub Hub. For me, what's the best advice you've gotten to kind of prepare for this finals?
Best advice I've gotten.
Number 2, second row.
I think it was in the bubble. D Wade called UD on FaceTime, and I was in the room, obviously. And he was like, "Hey, man, let me talk to the young fella." He said the biggest thing about the finals is really embrace and cherish the moment because they do not come around often. You don't have. It's not one of those things where you be like, "All right, I'm gonna just get here next year," because it's not that easy. Teams change, players change, coaches change. So really embrace that moment.
Second row on your left.
Hey, Ben, I'm Shane with Forward Sports. I'm just curious, Duncan had that spurt that really helped you guys in the second half. In what ways have you seen him, I guess, grow and develop in terms of reading the floor, putting the ball on the floor, and attacking?
I would say Duncan has definitely evolved into he can put the basketball on the floor now. He feels comfortable doing that. He feels comfortable making plays for other people. And obviously, he's one of the best shooters in the league. When he ignites, when he gets on fire, it's hard to stop Duncan Robinson.
Jeff over here on the right.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Kevin had a long outlet pass to you that resulted in a penalty plus the ball. I wanted to know from you what makes Kevin's outlet passes so special, and did you have to do anything differently when he joined the team to sort of embrace how he throws that ball?
I feel like the best thing about Kevin Love passing is they're always on the money. They're always right there, hands ready, it's in the pocket. And my biggest change will be on the team with K-Love, as you can see. As soon as he get the rebound, I take off running. And I feel like we've all benefited from that.
In the middle?
Mark Kisla, Denver Post. You were just talking about embracing the moment and players change, teams change. I believe players win, but talk about Coach Spo, great experience here and his ability to make tweaks from game to game and what that means to you guys and how much you trust that.
I mean, he's been to how many finals at this point? So he's seen everything but the win. So, you know, him being in those moments, him cherishing those moments, I feel like he's comfortable here. You know, he isn't making anything up. He isn't trying to figure it out with this, that, and third. Like, he's been through so much with so many other great players that, you know, I feel like he settles in these moments. This is when he really gets comfortable. It's when he doesn't get really rattled. And this is when he comes up with the game plan for us to be successful.
Fourth row, Mike.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. Bam, you've been complimentary of Nikola Jokic in the past. How would you describe the challenge of facing him at this stage?
I mean, we both have something on the line, which is a championship. So obviously it's going to be a fight. But, you know, he's a great player. You know, he's a two-time MVP, and you respect that.
Ethan.
Ethan Skolnick, 5 Reasons Sports. Bam, you're at the line for some clinching free throws, crowd's going crazy, stuff on the video board and everything. How do you focus in that moment? What do you think of? Do you think of nothing at all? Like, how do you handle a moment like that?
I mean, you treat it like you're the only man in the arena. You know, you take your time, inhale, exhale, and then you go back to all them times you had to shoot free throws after running suicides, running tens, being dog-tired after practice, having to make free throws, and you just go back to those moments, and then it gives you that sort of confidence, like I've been here, and you go to the line, knock them down.
Second row, middle.
Hey, Bam, Josh from Channel 7 in Miami. I know you've been in the finals before, but just what's your excitement of actually doing this in front of the home fans with a true environment in Miami tomorrow night?
I mean, I'm expecting it to be, you know, every time we make a layup, free throw, three, it'd be an avalanche of noise. And obviously when we get stops, you know, for us, we've seen what this city looks like when it's been in the final. So, you know, it's good to have the opportunity to be back in front of these fans and have this opportunity.
Melissa?
Hey, Bam. Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. Speaking of Jokic, one of the most under-talked about or underrated parts of his game is his basketball IQ. What have you noticed in that sense in terms of what type of challenge that presents?
I mean, how he can go through 2 or 3 coverages and figure it out in a matter of, you know, up and down, and he's already read the game, you know, reading the game, and so the biggest thing for us is switching up the coverages and having them see different looks.
Right over here in the aisle.
Ben, Fábio Malavasi, NBA Brazil. There was, you know, you guys double and triple sometimes Jokic. And what do you make up this notion that you guys letting him have the, you know, his points on the last game with the intensity? How you compare that with the intensity? That I don't think it's fair with you, by the way. So, but I want to see what you think about that and your comparison with the intensity that you guys played.
I mean, the biggest thing for us guarding him is just make him take difficult shots. We're not just going to just let a man go get 40. That's just not smart by any means, especially when you're guarding a guy who's been the 2-time MVP of this league. Biggest thing for us is force everybody on that team into tough shots, and you live with that result. You know, going into the intensity part, you know, it's good to be in our environment. It's good to be in the 305 and have the crowd on our side.
We go Cooper, Alvaro, and then Dan, last 3.
CooperMorehead.com. Bam, with Jokic kind of changing his depth in the pick and roll throughout the game, how much does that change things for you, whether he's back in the middle or way
One more time. I cannot hear you.
With Jokic changing his defensive depth in pick and rolls, how does that change your reads, whether he's kind of back in the middle or way up to touch?
It doesn't. My thing in the pick and roll is to make sure that the guard gets open. So set a great screen. That's Jimmy Butler. Am I done?
Dan over here on the right.
Sorry,
Oh, my bad, man.
No, apologies. We'll get you out of here quick. Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. You mentioned the importance of making other guys take tough shots. Jamal Murray obviously had a big game for them in Game 1, a little more quiet in Game 2. Jimmy spent a lot of time on him. Wondering what you saw out of Jimmy in that defensive matchup in Game 2.
Say it again.
Jamal Murray, Jimmy spent a lot of time on him in Game 2, had more of a quiet Game 2. Wondering what you saw out of Jimmy in that defensive matchup in Game 2.
You know, he takes the challenge. You know, whatever the assignment is, I feel like he'll take the challenge, and he's going to find a way to make it tough on him. You know, so biggest thing for us is having a guy like that that's willing to take the challenge on defense and also be the number one option on offense.
Alvaro, last one on the left. Stand.
Alvaro Martin of NBA Latin America and NBA Mexico. I was watching film of your zone, and in one single possession, you can go from 3-2 to 1-3-1 if someone's in the nail, and nothing happens. It's like you've done this for years. Is it just that you're all professional basketball players, or how long did it take for you guys to gel to that level of achievement?
One, we have incredible experience on our team. So we have veterans who's run 2-3, 3-2, 1-3-1, whatever that may be. And then also, we drill it to nausea, to the point where, like, we're tired of it. But, you know, we always have that in our back pocket just in case we need it.
Thank you.
Black Lives Matter, people.
Kyle, we'll start on the right side, fourth row.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Kyle.
Hi.
A lot of guys on this team went through the finals experience in the bubble, and then they went through first two of this series in Denver, but they haven't actually had people in a building cheering for them until tomorrow night. As somebody who's been through that, what is the benefit of being at home, if any? I mean, I know it's more tickets and more distraction and all that stuff, but is there a real tangible benefit to a crowd at home in a finals?
Yeah. I don't know if it's I think being at home in general, sleeping in your bed, you know, being able to do the things at home that you're comfortable with, you know, getting home cooked meals, all that, that's benefits it. But the benefit of the crowd is no matter what, they're going to be behind you. They're going to give you energy. They're, you know, if the other team's on a run, they're going to give you a little boost, right? You know, the other team, if you're on a run, it's going to be a crazy boost. And I think just the overall, you know, energy for your team and your group, it will give you a little bit of a lift, but it won't win you the game. So you still got to go out there and hoop. So, but it will give you some type of, you know, good feeling.
Right side, first row, Barry.
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, Barry.
We never had a chance to ask you about this, but you brought it up on TNT set during the Boston series about how you and Pat spoke during the process, I guess, when you were out with the knee. What happened, if you're able to share during that conversation, as far as what you emerged thinking? I'm sure you both emerged with good feelings about things.
I will not tell you exactly what happened, but it was a great conversation, and it was just, you know, making sure that I was healthy for an opportunity to, if we got on the run like we've been, and I think that's the biggest thing about it is, you know, the opportunity to be healthy, to help the group, right, no matter what it is. And, you know, making it into the finals, I'm as healthy as I've been in a while, and I feel good. So, like, it was a great conversation. It was a great time. It felt fantastic. And, you know, having a guy like Pat in your back, having your back is, you know, it's a good feeling. It's a good guy to have back there.
We're going to stay on the right side. Scott?
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
Do you remember
No.
when you were a kid, how old you were when you learned what a zone defense was? Do you remember, like, what you were taught about it? Do you remember what team you were playing for?
No, I don't. I'm being honest with you. I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, it's, you know, everyone knows the basic 2-3 and then the traps and press and all that stuff. But I would think, you know, you learn about the zone press first as a young kid, then you learn about the zone defense. But yes, if you're getting to the question of our zone, it's pretty cool.
What makes it cool?
It works sometimes. It's shape shifting, and I think always Gabe Vincent always will say him and Andre Iguodala, you know, kind of figured it out how to play the top and, you know, give them credit. Hey, please, quiet. I'm doing an interview. I think they've give them credit, and just been a work in progress. And it's a different type of zone, and you have to be able to play it and want to play it to make it successful.
We're going to go to the middle to Manny.
Hey, Kyle.
How you doing, Manny?
Good. Kind of off of Tim's question, city of Miami, you've been here a couple of years now. I know you came here a lot as a visitor, but is there something you've fallen in love with as far as this city's concerned, or something you feel?
I love that that chant, and then the swag surf, and hey, yeah, that one, yeah. Fuck, I do not like that guy over there. Hey, hey, you in here next, bro? He left. All right. No, it's just, I think just we have a different vibe here. And, I mean, the vibe down here is just awesome, man. When it gets going in here, it's really like a party. And you got to enjoy it. You enjoy the music. They sing with you. They sing along. It's just a great place to be. And the fan base is unbelievable. And I'm sure tomorrow's going to be nuts in here. And I'm looking forward to it.
Left side, second row.
Kyle, we're seeing a lot of players now play 15, 16, 17, 20 years. What's been the difference for you in terms of that longevity? And then when you look back over your first 2-3 seasons, getting hurt as a rookie, playing all 82 as a second year, and then getting traded in the third year, what did you learn from those first 3 years?
Well, my first year, I didn't learn much. I mean, I was around the team, but I got injured. And, I think the second year, just playing all 82 was, like, huge for me, coming back from injury. But I think the thing about longevity is figuring out how to adapt, take care of your body, understand, what an NBA season is, understanding how to train in the off season, understanding how to eat, how to make sure you get your rest and recovery, and being able to, adjust who you are and grow, mature-wise, right? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be times where you're going to be here, and then you're going to go up, and then you're going to go up, and then at this point in my career, you're getting, there's a lot of people that just kind of level off, and you got to be able to have the humility to be able to say, you got to work at different things and be willing to accept different roles in different situations in different times. And right now, at this time of the year, I'm just happy to be able to have a guy like Gabe be the starting point guard and playing the way he's playing, and being able to talk to him and help him as much as I can. That's big for me, just being able to help him, and also being a guy that can see the game from, a different aspect, to start the game off the bench and then give him my takes, and then come in there and do what I can do to help the team.
We're going to go to the fourth row on the left side. Jeff Silga.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Kyle. How are you?
What's up, buddy?
Who throws a better deep outlet pass? You
Me.
or fair enough.
Me.
What are the components that go into making that pass work? And did you have any influences? Because usually it's not a guard throwing that.
Yeah, I think last year I've always done it in my career. And I learned it from Jason Kidd. Is always try to catch the ball, look ahead. It was always somebody. I learned that from Jason Kidd, watching him a long time ago. As a guard, it's a lot easier to, catch and throw right away. And I think the components, like for Kevin, he has an unbelievable knack for throwing the ball right to the guy, and he's bigger, and it's just right on time. And he's been doing it his whole career. I think it's just being able, knowing that you have confidence in your guy to go get it. We're throwing the balls, to Max and Jimmy. We know they're going to go get it. You know what I mean? Bam. We know those guys are going to go get it and finish it. And having the ability to have, athletes like that, it makes our jobs a lot easier on those outlet passes. So for me, it's just like sometimes you throw it. Sometimes you throw it just to throw it. It might be a turnover, but you get the guys knowing that, hey, keep running. Let's try to get some relief points.
We're going to take two more questions in the back row.
Hey, Paulina, I just wanted to ask if you have like a certain routine because, I don't know, taboo or superstition before each game that you want to share with us?
No, I just knock on the wood when I go out there, and that's about it. Other than that, I just kind of go out there and every game's different. Got to go out there and just figure it out. Different music, different clothes, different shoes. Just go out there and figure it out.
Last question on the right side, fourth row.
Tim, you just asked one, bro.
I did. I'm sorry, but I forgot to ask you the one I wanted to ask you.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go.
As the best golfer in the NBA.
No, that's a lie. Steph Curry is, and he's
as the best golfer in the finals this year. I'll give you that one.
All right. I'll take that one.
What did you think when you heard that PGA and LIV?
Unbelievable, right? Yeah. They got like a 19 handicap tour. I'm not a 19. No, I think that's honestly, it's the way it should be, and I think I think that just shows how groups can get along. You kind of bring groups together that be completely opposite and come together. All right, we got a team in our team who got guys who are completely opposite, but we come together for one common goal, and that's just the betterment of the game. That was a great answer. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot. Please raise your hand. We'll take first question in the back left. Jason.
Break, Jax. Jason Jackson, Miami Heat Broadcasting. Jimmy, just a word about something that you say a lot, but I think it's important to revisit. Just the importance of Bam and everything that he does for you all on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, Bam's been playing incredibly well this entire playoffs. For sure this series. And this one, he got, like, the toughest matchup by far on the defensive side of the ball. And he plays with so much energy. He never takes a possession or a playoff. So you got to really respect him for that. And then on the offensive end, he's doing everything for us. So we need him to continually be that. He has been that for us all year long. And like I said, he's going to be the reason why we win the championship.
Melissa?
Hey, Jimmy, Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. If we can rewind a bit, you've talked before about having one D1 scholarship offer. What made you decide to go instead the JUCO route with Tyler?
I don't know, but I'm grateful for Tyler Junior College. Taught me a lot about the game of basketball. I don't know. I had so much belief in myself. Not to say that I would be up here talking to y'all in the finals, but I just knew I could be a really good basketball player, maybe make a little bit of money doing basketball overseas. And they taught me a lot at Tyler Junior College about the game of basketball. And then, go to Marquette for 3 years. I think JUCO just so happened to be, like, the best thing for me. And I couldn't tell you that at the time. It was frustrating that I wasn't playing Division I basketball. But my goodness, I got so much love for Tyler Junior College.
In the middle?
Yanni Crocus, WPBF. Jimmy, with your previous finals experience with the Heat being in the bubble, how much excitement are you have for this home crowd tomorrow? And was the excitement level in Denver even ratcheted up more than conference finals and other playoff games you've been into?
Yeah, it's always a blessing to be able to play in the finals, for sure, in front of, like, a heckling away crowd. But I'm so happy for this city of Miami, this organization. They deserve to be in the finals. They deserve to win the finals and win a championship. And we will do everything in our power to make that happen. But I just know that the energy in there is going to be unmatched. It has been throughout this entire playoffs run, and even in the regular season. So I know they're going to show up. I know they're going to show out. And I know we're going to do the same.
Steve, over here on the right.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. Jimmy, when you guys talk about Heat culture things, like commitment to winning and sacrifice and playing with an edge, it seems like a lot of that is selection. Who comes in and becomes a part of this team? You've been elsewhere. Is it prevalent that there are guys that would not make it here because of their priorities?
I don't know. I don't have too many bad things to say about any organization, any player that I play with. I know that the guys that we have here fit that mold to the T. Everything that they do here is about winning. It's not about anything else. And so we ride with that. We think about that. Nobody really thinks about the past or where they have been or the future where they might be. I think the best part about this squad, this time, is we're in it for right now, every single day, and that's what that Heat culture is about.
Just to follow up, have you seen instances where the culture or you guys have been able to convert somebody and really make them appreciate what it is that goes on here, or do they just not show up at the door?
No, everybody that walks through this door or a part of this organization, past, present, for sure the future, you have to buy in to everything that we're about here, which is about one another, not about you, and about winning. If you can do that, you can handle all of that, you're going to flourish here. And each one of the guys on this roster, everybody in this organization, front office, all the way down the line, it's about somebody else, and it's always about winning.
Vinny in the middle.
Jimmy, Vince Gilroy, Yahoo Sports. There's a weird stat floating around where you guys are outscored in the first quarter, the second quarter, in the third quarter, but you outscored Denver by a miraculous sort of margin in the fourth. Is it something in particular? We saw what happened in game 2, but is there something in particular that you guys have coming into the fourth quarter? Do you take things from the first 3? Is it some magical adjustment? How do you explain that?
I don't know. It's just winning basketball. We just happen to win, and it looks like we're playing good in the fourth quarter. I can't tell you the answer to that question. I wish that wasn't even a thing. I don't know if anybody knows that except for you. We definitely don't know that. We just want to win. I'm telling you, we just want to win. And if it happens to be coming back in the fourth quarter, then that's what it is. If it happens to be holding a lead in the fourth quarter, I pray that that's what it is. But at the end of the day, we just got to find a way to win.
On your right here, Lisa.
Lisa Salters, ESPN. Jimmy, I know it's only 2 games, but your own self-evaluation, how do you think that you have played so far in these 2 games?
I think I've done great. I think I've done what I've needed to do to get us to 1-1. I hope it was 2-0 in our favor. It is not. I don't pay attention to stats. I'm not going to lie. I've said that all along. As long as we win, everybody's playing great. If we lose, and I hope we don't do that too often, everybody can blame me for whatever reason. I'm not worried about it, but nobody can blame anybody for anything whenever we win. So that's all that we focus on.
Dan, back right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, back here, Jimmy. Coach was praising your defensive effort. First game against Gordon, last game a lot of time on Murray. Wondering what it takes to kind of be able to downshift from a big like Gordon to a point guard like Murray, and the challenges that Murray, the importance of quieting down Murray in this particular attack.
I mean, he's one of the heads of the snake. I think it's the 2-headed snake in this instance. Bam has a really tough job to do, and I think time and time again I have a tough job on Murray, and he scores in so many different ways. He has the ball consistently, and he's making all the right reads, all the right passes. But it's just about effort, contesting every shot, body on body, making everything difficult for him. I got to continually do that because I know if I lead the way on that end along with Bam, everybody has to follow suit. So it's all about doing your job, doing what's asked of you on any given night, and hoping, praying that you did enough to get a win.
Fourth row on the left, Michael.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. Jimmy, you've been able to create a ton of open shots for your teammates throughout this series. I was wondering, from your perspective, is Denver defending you differently at all compared to the Celtics, Knicks, and Bucks in the first round?
Yeah, I think it changes from, series to series, maybe even game to game. But if my guys are open, I'm throwing it every single time. And I hope I throw it, like, on the money, perfect to where you can just step in and shoot it. Like I've always said, I got so much faith in them. I can't win without them. I've tried that before in other places where I just think I could do it. Nah, that's not the answer. Here, we understand that I need those guys, and I hope those guys need me a little bit too. But it's like, it's perfect basketball. We love playing for and with one another. If you open, I'm passing it.
Last 2 questions, Joe, and in the second row.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. Jimmy, right along with this, you've been talking all series about making the right play, making the right pass. You haven't had that Jimmy game, I guess, since the first round, or maybe the first game of the conference finals where he had 35. How do you know when those come about, and do you ever find yourself pressing to score like that when you haven't in a while?
No. I'm not a scorer. Like, just because I score a lot of points one game, that doesn't make you a scorer. I'm not a volume shooter. I don't do any of that. I don't press to score. I only press to win. So if I pass the ball every possession, if we win, I don't care. If I shoot the ball every possession and we win, I don't care. This playoff Jimmy narrative is not a thing. I just want to win along with everybody else. So I don't worry about too much other things except for winning.
Last question, second row.
Hey, Jimmy. Drafteados from Spain, Madrid. Adebayo just told us the best advice he received for the finals was from D. Wade in 2020. Can you tell us the best advice you received for playing the finals and who gave it to you?
It's always D. Wade just telling me to be myself and be who I am, create my own story, and go out there and compete and do what you love to do. And that's win. He's been in my corner for a very long time now. I'm very grateful. He is a huge reason why I'm here. I don't like to be compared to that guy, but the one thing that I do want to be like him is a champion. So that's what I got to go do.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Appreciate you.